Hello everybody, nice to have you here. Today we will talk again about Adobe Builder and if be more precise about authorization within Adobe Builder against Adobe Commerce / Magento. Last week I had to deal with upgrade of one of our Adobe Builder extension from Adobe Integration Starter Kit version 1 to version 2. What is difference, you would ask me, and that will be a valid question because the original idea of Integration Starter Kit is that you take a piece of code that's doing some operations, you modify it for yourself, and then you can use it straight away for your application, but you're not supposed usually to update it because there are no packages and you can modify the code as you want to, so that's not kind of old Magento Adobe Commerce way that you have a monolith and then you write an extension on top. No, that's a SDK which you're using for yourself to create the code for your module, and then you usually shall not update it. Why I did it? By the reason that Adobe released Adobe Commerce SaaS version, and the authorization against REST APIs for the SaaS version is different. And what I could do for sure, I could just open my code and start to write different authorization patterns to separate if it's authorization against Adobe Commerce Standard and SaaS. But Adobe Builder Integration Kit version 2 has this already out of the box. And if my initial module was built with using Integration Starter Kit, I theoretically can just update. So what I want to show what it costs to us and how the final update looks like and what is basically the difference between authorizations. That's also something that's maybe quite interesting to you. So starting with the spoilers, that's the merge request for update our HubSpot integration to version 0.2, and that's amount of files that's in the end ended up be changing. What is the difference? So currently, if I'll go into the Integration Starter Kit and open the environment dist file, which usually contains the configuration for your application, you can see here two sections. One of them is OAuth, client, technical account, and so on. And another one is a commerce, consumer access, tokens, and so on. Let me show you the version 2 explicitly because it's a bit different. So, the way you usually authorize against your APIs before, when you're using Adobe Commerce on-premise or cloud, you define in the consumer key secret access token in access token secret. Those values you can find in your Adobe Commerce backend when you're creating a new integration. How to do it, I will not talk. That's quite basics. You can Google it. If you're using the normal approach, that would be enough. You define in those keys here, and then Integration Starter Kit will know what to do, and that's what I did in the HubSpot module. So we just used the standard authorization way and everything worked fine. But then SaaS been released. SaaS brought us new authorization. It's IMS Authorisation. So if you have a SaaS environment, you'll go to backend, you will not see integration part there at all anymore. And to authorize against REST API, you need to use your Adobe Builder credentials. So how is the Integration Starter Kit authorized on a previous version? So that's our HubSpot integration, and there is a file in actions which called OAuth 1a.js. And this file we used also for authorization. So it's basically quite standard. So it's taking your data which you define in the file and doing the API call. So it's creating the headers and then doing calls to Magento. That's the easy part. So you can also have like put here, post, delete. So there are some predefined methods. That's the easy part because it's using OAuth authorization against Adobe Commerce. And that's what we used. As you can see, that's our module version 1. And if I'll go to Adobe Commerce Integration Starter Kit version 1, and we'll go to this file, you would also see it here. So that's a file that we used. With a new version of the Integration Starter Kit, let me switch to version 2, you will see here that's one more file been added. It's auth.json. And also, that's not only that been added. There have also been added bunch of the TypoScript configurations. Also been added a new package, Commerce SDK Auth, which also the TypoScript. So this new add-ons, let's say so, they are now making possible to define the way you authorize against Adobe Commerce System. And if again, let's go to my merge request, just that you see the difference. So in Actions now, the new file appeared, which was not here before, is auth.json. And what is it doing? Like the most critical method here, it's called from params. It's taking the parameters from environment dist file, and then it's checking if you defined your commerce consumer key, then it will authorize against Magento by using consumer key, consumer secret, access token, and token secret. In case if you don't have them there, because if you're building against SaaS only, you don't need them. So if your system has SaaS, you don't have those values. It will proceed and will check your auth client ID, secret, and so on, and will try to authorize against EMS. And then throw an error if none of those are configured. So that's how it works now. So this file have to be used to automatically decide against which system to authorize, let's say against SaaS or against on-premise or against PaaS. And in this manner, it's much easier. You don't need to worry about this file just doing the job. So in our case, we added this new file here. We copied OAuth 1 modifications. So you can also imagine as we change the way how those two files been processed. So auth.js and OAuth 1.js. Also the change way how we call in Magento. Basically, okay, that's not very obvious. So maybe it could be done in a way that they didn't change, but they did, because there are like different set of parameters that have to be used. So that's one of the examples for the create new customer API call that was there before. And before it used base URL, then consumer keys and access tokens for authorization. Now, as you need to separate, it just accepting params. Inside of params can be like different types of the variables. So in this case, you defining now not the keys values, but like params. And params itself contains information about everything which is located in this file, for sure, if you bypass it with your actions. So, and as a result, after all these updates, our change request or merge request for update looks quite big. But basically here, mostly the TS config files, the packages for the Commerce SDK. Don't forget to update your package.json and to define, package.json to define here the workspaces, because currently this package is not outside, it's part of the module. You need to copy it. Then there are some updates of SDKs which you have to add. So you need to add this package to the package.json updated version. That's quite okay. And and a bunch of method that we have to rework by the reason that the original method changed. But still, we don't need to write it everything from scratch. And it's basically doing the good job, because we could basically reusing this similar manner for all our extensions, which made our life a bit easier. Despite, we for sure been not very happy we need to do it, but no pain, no gain. That's one point. The second point was that we have Adobe Commerce Feed Generator module, which is also available on the marketplace. And here we use an API mesh. And in our config file, we merge two APIs. One of them is a GraphQL, which is standard one. And what we want to do additionally, we want to add store information about stores, just to have a drop down on the front end. So, and here been used bearer authorization. Don't hit me much. The module was created originally 2 years ago almost. I know we need to update it against OAuth, but basically it's not using integration starter kit. It's like fully self-developed extension with all JavaScript file and its own way connecting to Adobe Commerce. So, and after this already become deprecated, we now again have to switch it to implementing OAuth, which is not the biggest problem, but the biggest problem for us is to implement EMS in this manner, because if you want to authorize against EMS, you have to make two calls. So first of all, you need to create a token by using your appbuilder data and then using this token to make a call to Adobe Commerce, let's say, for the products. In this case, it's not possible by using mesh. So what we will need to do, we will need to do this inside of the action to get the data and then render it separately. So be aware of this one. And one more maybe interesting topic for you, and please don't be confused too much. So maybe it's like a bit different topics we are talking about today. But last week, the Adobe releasing Commerce Checkout Starter Kit. So shortly, it's a checkout starter kit about which help you to build a builder application for the checkout. Means you can add the new payment methods, new shipping method, new taxes with it. So you can do out of process extensibility for your checkout processes. But that's not what we're talking about. I maybe will make another video on it when I will try it more in details. What I want to talk about is again authorization. If you'll go to authorization here, I even don't know where is it located. I forgot. Yes. There is a folder called Leap, and here you have Adobe Auth authorization, which again taking your config and so on. Wait, I'll not close it. And you have Adobe Commerce authorization, which get commerce HTTP headers, and so on. So what I want to say, I don't want to go in details. I want to say that it's another starter kit, which is another way of authorizing against commerce. So the ways are equal, but the JavaScript files are different and the code is different. Yes, it can be quite challenging if you work with it. I talked to Adobe guys. They really want to unify it and have common library for authorization because, I mean, you see that will not well end it if you will have 10 different starter kits, which every team is doing something by their own. So this is going to be changed. So if you're using this starter kit, be aware that maybe you need to update also, at least to have some unified solution. So just know about this. I mean, I guess that's good to know in any case. And the fun fact, what I found, so if you go to standard implementation of the starter kit, let me show you this file, wait, auth.js. You see what is it doing here? That's validating the commerce consumer keys exist and then returning back commerce auth1. If this is not existed, then check for auth client ID and returning back the EMS properties. Awesome, looks good. Let's go to commerce starter kit. If those are not empty, it's returning EMS options. If those are not empty, it's returning integration options. Have you spotted the difference? It's another sort order. So in this case, if you have a consumer key defined, awesome, you will go to authorize against standard consumer. If not, then it's going to auth. For this module, it first validating if it's auth, and if yes, directly going to EMS, and another way, it's going to like fall back to commerce authorization. That's not very comfortable, guys, because we have a module where we're using those parameters for another type of communication, because we're using another features of Adobe Runtime. At the same time, we'll be using this one to authorize against Adobe Commerce. If we will install this module, it will break everything, because our keys will react like this. We will get EMS options back and we will never hit the second part. So yeah, I mean, I'm really happy that Adobe guys are moving forward and the new starter kits appeared. It's making life easier, and it's also really showing the great example how Adobe Commerce can be used and extended by using Adobe Commerce Builder. I guess it will be unified in next years because work is quite active and intense. I mean, I was off for 3 months, and since that, really a lot of stuff happened, which I need still to catch up. I mean, I have some time to try it and go forward, but there are quite a lot of. And I guess it will be go to direction of the unifying the stuff. making life easier, but that's definitely the learning path. I mean, if you remember your back days, Magento, PHP developers, you still learn a lot of, especially when Magento 2 appeared. Here is very similar. Despite, I guess, that this learning is maybe a bit easier, especially if you work with JavaScript before. And the way the code built, much simpler than, I would say, Magento 2 code originally been made. I hope it was interesting. I mean, for us, it was opening. I will definitely rewatch this video in the future myself and together with the team, because this is not first time we need to touch this point. But at least I got you to the direction. I will paste the links for everything I showed in the description, so it's easier than to find those files. And if you have any question, let me know. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you liked it. That's really helped me. At least it keeps me motivated. I mean, off topic, I listened some podcasts recently about the dopamine and about how the social media influence our life. I guess quite popular topic now. And yeah, subscribing and like make me happy, and it's a good dopamine, much better than scrolling the Instagram feed. Okay, yes. Yeah. Enjoy the rest of the day. And we see each other in the next videos. If you have any questions, leave the comment. Bye bye.